Please give us a warm welcome to Shelley Row.
Thank you so much. The pitfalls of overthinking. I confess, you already heard it from Dave, I'm an overthinker. I, in fact, am an accomplished overthinker. I can overthink pretty much anything. How about you? Now, I'm not going to stand up here for 50 minutes and just talk. We have to find a way to interact with each other. Now, I'm not going to have you raise your hands because I wouldn't want anyone to feel embarrassed. So I'm going to ask you that if I say something that resonates either with you personally or reminds you of somebody you know, I want you to say, "Oh, yeah." So let's practice. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that was good. Let's do one more. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, excellent. You guys are going to be great. I'm going to give you 3 statements. And if one of those statements or any of those statements or all of those statements resonate with you, I want to hear an "oh, yeah." You ready? Here we go. We are just spending too much time on this.
Oh, yeah.
We're making a mountain out of a molehill. I'm just overthinking this. Yeah, it's not just me, is it? Here's the thing. The scientists tell us that we have about 70,000 thoughts a day. 100 billion neurons in our brain. Each neuron has 10,000 synapses. We're a thinking machine. But the irony is that when we overthink something, we're actually only using a part of the capacity of our brain. See, what we're learning from the science today is that our body is actually a neurological system, and the brain is only a part of it. We're learning a lot from the science, fMRI studies and brain science, about the neurology in the body. They've found, for example, that the neurotransmitters that are in our brain, we have a whole bunch of them in our gut. Who knew? In fact, there's so many of them that your gut is a big part of the sensing in your body, and it, in fact, communicates more to your brain than your brain goes the other way. It's a big communicator. But when we overthink, we sell ourselves short and we only use a little bitty part of that neurological system. Now I want to share a story with you about why I care about this topic. You see, I was an engineer at the Federal Highway Administration in my mid-30s and doing pretty well for myself. I had thought my way into a mid-level management position. Because you can do that. You can think your way into a mid-level management position. But I could see the executives, and I could tell they had something that I didn't have, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Now, at the same time, I was in a relationship with a textbook perfect man. But something was just off. I was lucky. We had access to an employee assistance program, so I made an appointment with a counselor. I will never forget that first appointment. I was a little nervous. I'd never been to any kind of counselor or therapist before, but I rationalized it. I'm an engineer. I mean, come on, it's a counselor. How hard can it be, really? So there I was on the day of the appointment. I was dressed for success, suited up and buttoned up. Had my day timer. Remember the day timers? Yeah? List of things to do. Employee assistance appointment, check that off. I stood up from my gray government cubicle with the matching blue-gray covers on the bookcases, and I walked briskly across the gray tweed carpet with purpose to the elevator lobby, down to the first floor, to her office across the gray linoleum. She was waiting there for me at her desk. Gray, metal. EEO poster, thumbtacked to the wall. Can you see it? She was a little bit younger than I was at the time, soft brown curly hair, and she smiled at me when I came in and she said, "How may I help you? What are you here for?" And I was there taking notes, of course, right? And I said, well, that's just it. I don't know why I'm here. I can't think of anything that's wrong. And she smiled patiently. And she said, use words a child would use. Happy, mad, sad, glad. And before I could think about it, I heard myself say, sad. Sad. I feel sad. That moment changed my life. See, that moment, it launched me on years of self-exploration and personal discovery. And in those years of personal discovery, I learned I could not think my way to the top. I had to think less and feel more. And I started practicing that. I started practicing feeling. And it made all the difference. It worked. In time, I got my dream job as the director of the ITS Joint Program Office. I got that dream job. What I have to share with you today is not only drawn from my personal experience, but it's drawn from 75 leadership interviews that I've done with leaders, engineers, lawyers, politicians, entrepreneurs, everything in between, about intuition and leadership. Now there's some of you going, whoa, intuition. Nobody said anything about intuition. Who brought her here? Brandon. What were you thinking? Here's the deal. Out of 75 leaders, 74 of them said intuition was an essential part of their leadership skill package. It's essential. Half of the people that I interviewed are in our industry. You'll know some of them. 2/3 of them are men. The men, by the way, were more comfortable with the word intuition than the women were. So this is the source of some of the material I'm going to share with you today. The other is from the brain science. This is the latest issue of National Geographic. The neuroscience is all over the literature today. We're learning so much from the scientists. So what I'm talking about today, it might be labeled intuition, but it's grounded. It's grounded in the science. So here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about 5 steps to stop overthinking and 5 pitfalls. 5 steps, 5 pitfalls. Say it with me. 5 steps, 5 pitfalls. 5 steps, 5 pitfalls. At least it's not the 12 steps, right?